So, black man's plight. First, lineage, understanding self. Second is proper placement within the household. Thirdly, proper placement within society. I know you probably think it should be the other way around, but it shouldn't, because how the household is run governs how society is run. One moment, and then, bam, his placement within within the overall plight of everyone else. See, the regular person will tell you right now that they're living paycheck to paycheck and blah blah blah, and it's hard out there. And then when you bring up black people, sometimes there's like this misunderstanding, or there's this gross hatred there that is underlined in a tone where they say, well, they're out there committing these crimes, and they're schemers and they're scammers. And before we get carried away with that, when this is 11 years ago, when I was in high school, we found out that only 1% of white collar criminals even get caught, let alone convicted. You know what I'm saying? And then it was like, man, out of the people that they caught, this is 11 years ago. You know what I mean? I heard my brother talking about it the other day, but I just wanted to speak on how crazy it was 11 years ago. For a white man to get caught doing the same crime a black man was doing, a black man was like 3 times more likely to get convicted back then for the same crime. You understand? Do you know how epic that is? 3 times more the conviction rate? This is coming from somebody who spent a lot of time in court, y'all. I've never been convicted. Never. Charged, never convicted. So, and I know, and I've been charged many times. So, and I've never paid for a lawyer. So before you get to saying anything outrageous, anything stupid, you know what I'm saying? I don't pay for lawyers. I don't pay for lawyers. I have enough know-how and understanding to know that I need to go look up the criteria based on my case. Right on. I need to look and see what kind of, and understand what evidence they have against me, what evidence they don't have against me, how that's going to impact the verdict, how that's going to impact the jury. Right on. Once again, this is all information that pertains to my case. And I know that I have to be free in order to get this information the easy way. Anyhow, just gave you a whole bunch of game for free. Don't thank me. We're going to move on. The part of the plight where the black man has no understanding of self is the saddest part of his entire plight. Because if the black man is a Gentile black man, meaning that he is of the first creation seed stock, and he does not have a soul, his plight is different than your plight. Therefore, he will never understand what you are going through. He may acknowledge it, but he can never truly understand or feel what it is that you feel. He lacks soul constitution. Moving on from that black man. The Adam, or whatever his name was supposed to be. That black man with the soul. When his children had children, eventually, before there was a great deluge that is monitored in every single history there is on this planet. Thank you very much. And after the great deluge, a man named Noah had 3 sons, one named Sem, one named Kam, one named Japhet. They all were black men. All their children at one point in time all looked the same. They look very similar to this. The reason why I say this is because the people in East Africa look very similar to this, only their hair is less coarse, more fine, so it curls up more loosely, and you can see the curl definition. Whereas the American Negro, as we'll say, has different kind of curl. It curls up so hard that it just comes together and holds together. Anyhow, Uncle Japhet, I believe, who was on the islands, the Solomon Islands, this man is currently held up and held hostage in so many ways. Um, when you think about places like Papua New Guinea, especially, where they say they've been there for as long as they don't know how, I would fair to say that these could be the men who inherited the islands of the Gentiles, other sons of Japhan, who are Elisha, Tarshish, Setians or Kithians, and Rhodians. I would have to identify which one of those sons of Elisha, Tarshish, Kithians, or Rhodians of whom they are. And when I read it one time, it said the Kithians and Rhodian, and I kind of took that as the two brothers was all that he had. Was that he only had the two sons, which is Elisha and Tarshish. So I have to do some more investigating to really see how, like you have to really watch how stuff is worded, and really see it. Because if you don't see that shit, man, it'll, you're done. You're done. I'm telling you. Discernment is everything, and if you don't discern the proper way, uh, uh, and not just the proper way, the way that you know how to discern. Um, I have yet to get this monitor up. I've been talking to my bro Steven about it for a hot second to show you guys how I like to do my researching, you know. But but a real basic way I do everything. You know what I mean? Not that you guys could see it right now, but I'm gonna do something real quick and then just watch me on the camera. So right now I'm at Google and I'm going to look up children of Jovan, right? And then it's gonna say, one second. So there's nothing there, right? Nothing there. Hold on, now watch this right here. Sons of Jovan. And it goes right to it. Wording is everything, my people. Right on? Wording is everything. I can't stress it enough. So if you're looking for something, you need to word it the same way that it's been known to been worded, because the information directory, where in which they hold all the information, that index is going to go based on what it has um, as common common language. So if it's written in there by 1,000 different programmers the same way, and you look for it a different way, it's probably not going to identify what you're looking for, unless there's a programmer who has an undercode written in to say, this is also the search. But before I get carried away with stuff like that, we'll get back to the plight. So this man's plight in the household is ruined, from the atavistic performances of the young men of the last generation before me and of the men who are now old men of the generation before me, and their inability to be responsible for their actions has really said a lot, because they blame the women for a lot of things. But it's like, until they actually hold themselves accountable, there's not going to be any accountability. And how they hold themselves accountable is saying, like, yeah, man, I did throw a bunch of house parties, and I did run through a bunch of those chicks. You know what I'm saying? And I did get a few of them pregnant, and I never took care of those kids. And then I finally got myself right, and then I did get a family, and then I did take care of my kids. And they knew I had other kids, but they never really knew the circumstances of all that. And so, they take that to the grave type stuff. That has to be addressed. That has to be addressed. I just pulled out a little silly one, from my sleeve. I got so many of them. And until the brothers hold themselves accountable, I don't think the sisters will ever even feel the need to, you know. When a brother constantly reminds you that, yeah, I'm hella wrong and I've been hella wrong, I tell people all the time, I tell you all the time I'm wrong. All the time. I'm wrong. I don't know everything. You know what I'm saying? And I'm above and not knowing everything. I struggle with stuff. So, like one of my struggles right now, I get super duper angry. Like, I mean, get hot, and I'll find myself like, you know, I don't know how willing other people are to go to the other side of being peaceful to being violent, but I'm really willing to, like, get real violent. So I don't put myself in positions where I could potentially have to do that, and I don't go nowhere. So sometimes my friends will think, he's just a hermit or homebody or whatever, but I am. That's exactly what I tell people. I'm a hermit. I stay home. I go do stuff every once in a while, but really I don't do nothing because that's just dangerous. You know, and not having a place in a household where, check this out. So my son's mom, right? She's married now with another child, right on. This dude is over my son and his child and my, you know what I'm saying, my son's mother. And it's just like, so I don't have a family on that range of level where I could go and do some other stuff, but it's like, why? Why go why go through a situation that could potentially lead me to the same thing, you know? So it's like until I actually meet somebody who uh they have their own criteria that they meet and that they abide by. You get what I'm saying? It's one thing for you to have criteria for a person, but when they have criteria for themselves, you see, because I have criteria for myself, you know. I don't just go, if I go somewhere and I really want to look nice, trust me, I'm going to look nice. I don't have to stress that too hard. I don't have to try too hard to do that. I know what I'm doing. But outside of that, I'm not looking for nobody. So I don't go out of my way to do my hair every day. I just moisturize it with some water, get it nice and damp, dry it up with a towel, put the oil through it, run it through, get it nice and soft, go through that motion, keep my hair nice and slicked up with the oil, and it grows just fine. It's nice and healthy right now. It just looks, you know, like us. You know how we look. Shit, quit playing. And I don't like to comb my hair a whole bunch. So, when I do comb it, you know, comb it, I pull it back, I let it stay back for a little bit, and then I just let it go like this for a hot minute. Because it's just, I'm understanding we don't have to do all that. You know what I'm saying? And that's part of our place in our household is that there's things that we're supposed to do and shit that we're not supposed to have to do. And the black man has to do a lot of things he's not supposed to do. And because of that, he feels diminished. And his diminishment has caused for the black man to cede into the devices of Egypt and the devices of Canaan and the devices of all the land and the places where in which the children of Israel sojourned in. Right? So for these guys who claim to be Egyptian, did you know that some of the devices that these guys used to sleep with animals on the regular, and their mothers and sisters and their brothers and their fathers, that was common? Did you know that? Did you know that about the Canaanites or the Canaanites, whatever you want to call them? See, this is the stuff I have to throw out there. These are the devices of the other land. So before y'all, are so quick and so proud to claim who these people are, understand that you say that the Bible or whatever is written off of these people gloated that and had no problem yet. Throw that in there. Throw all that in there. Right. So fall back on everything you claim so proudly. Cause I could go way deeper than that. I'm a vicious dude. If you ain't dealt with me ever, you need to go listen to once again some of these old videos where I used to just go all in. I used to just go for the jugular. That's it. I'm trying to kill him. I've calmed down off all that. When I say go for the jugular, trying to kill him, meaning I'm finding the verses through the paper, writing it all down. That used to take forever. I still do that every once in a while. I got so many notes. I just found a book of notes I'm going to get to y'all with. Oh, it's about to be fire. It's about to be fire. Because to be honest, I thought I lost them. So I was like, man, I'm not about to retake those for a second. But I found them. So anyway, I go through that motion to do that. And then I try to deliver what it is an understanding is to destroy anything that I just heard that I just thought was totally erroneous or I thought was out of pocket in some way, shape, or form. You see, because I'm not in a place to criticize you. So it's just like how the plight of society, our third point, and where we fit there is we're lower than everybody. We're lower than black children, for sure. Know that. Lower than white children, Mexican children, Asian. We're lower than everybody. So where do you fit to increase yourself in a land where in which no one sees you as even the equal to their dog that they walk around on the leash, right? So the point of banding together just so they can kill us all easily is crazy. It's crazy. That sounds crazy to me. They're not about to get 100 of people I believe are on like-minded caliber like me. Not at one time, no. Not because we all thought it was a good idea and it turned out to be a bad idea. No, no. Not so they can call you a terrorist. Not so they can say that you're a conspirator. Not so they can try to do anything. Right on? And not so that one of these dudes is really an informant, an infiltrator. So that way he helps you build it to this level. And they let it do that. Because y'all don't know that's how the CIA and all this stuff works. That's how they do it. You understand? They don't play no games. They don't play no games. They're with it. Okay? When I say they're with it, they're with it. They don't no. 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 Don't even think that they're not trying to send their little black okie dokes wherever they can so that way they can get them. And see, let me go ahead and address something right now. Point number 4 is the spiritual stance, honestly, right on, and people not thinking that we don't have souls. Let me go ahead and hit you something. The fact that somebody could attack your equity on the only level you truly have something that they really might not have. You understand that? They might not have a fucking soul. Excuse my language. That's the one thing they know they might not have. And they accuse you of that. Some of the people that are black skinned, once again, those black Gentiles, they don't have souls. And you run around with them. So, hey, you do what you do. You do what you do. Some of us have partition soul. Some of us have full soul constitution, or as much soul constitution as one can have. Some of us have attachment to soul constitution. I'll break into that another day. And it's in the word. So you can say whatever you want to say. I'm not making none of this up. I don't have to. I don't need to. I recorded this on what day, whatever time, whenever. If this makes it to you, that means I got over myself. It's not pride. It's a level of humility that I have, and it's like sometimes I just be like, are they even ready to hear this stuff? Because to talk about the whoredoms of a person, one sex in particular, to not speak on the whoredoms of another or the fallacies of the other, or to hold ourselves accountable. I don't have to hold myself accountable on any level, because I hold myself accountable if I talk about those kinds of things, right on? So therefore, anything that I don't want to be held accountable on, I don't speak about that. Right. If I don't want you to hold me accountable, I'm not going to talk about that. You're going to have to find it in your mind to bring it up to hold me accountable. And then we can hold me accountable. But I'm not going to speak it out my mouth so that way you can try to bring accountability to me. No, that's nonsense. That's foolishness. That's what that is. Because for me to say something and then for you to be like, oh, I don't want you to disagree with me, and then to call myself a grown-ass man, behind all that, that's, first off, that's some chick shit. That's some woman stuff. Men don't do that. Right on? Number 2, what men don't do is, if they're saying they're going to take it on the chin, They don't take it on the chin and then act like they got fucking poked in the eye. That's right. That's right. So we're not calling out cheap shots that didn't happen. If you were a part of the 90s drama, Freaknik, Atlanta, part of any of the real in the turf Bay Area movement, you know what I'm saying? Any of the violent East Coast movements, any of the violent Midwest movements, right on. What are you gonna say to me? Huh? What are you gonna say to me? For all you guys that have plowed through, I mean, hundreds of chicks, what are you gonna say to me, bro? Do you even have a freaking soul left before you open your mouth? Before you say something stupid about King Solomon, you do recognize that he did that which was wicked in the sight of the Lord. So before you say anything else epic to me, I'm a real down the middle type guy. I don't cut no hairs. I just call it how I see it. And if you want to be like King Solomon, that means you want to be like King Jeroboam. That means you want to be like King Ahab and the rest of the sorry lie. No, they're not good people. His wisdom, with all that wisdom, with the Lord coming to him twice and saying, don't worship other gods. With all that wisdom, did he take heed? No, he did not. So don't try to tell me right on what the plight is. I know what the plight is. The plight is the black man does not want to worship his own God. The plight is the black man has a problem with recognizing who he is as a black man in his flesh, be it a Hamitic black man, a Japhetic black man, a Semitic black man, or a Gentile black man, or a consortium of the mixture of bloods of the peoples that be on this planet. Right. So until there's accountability on that level and that level alone, I could never take a person serious. Is that a problem? Is that rude? Is that wrong? Or is that just honest? Take the honesty for what it's worth. Because there's a lot of guys out here with, who knows what going on. In real life, in real time action, a lot of people come and mess with me. If I had my own little thing going on, they would come mess with me daily. But every weekend, consistent thing. Because I'm a consistent dude. I'll tell your chick right in front of you, you're not right. Because she says something to you that you normally let slide. Right on? Because you forget that your God cursed you. Right, I acknowledge that. So unless I want to go through those part of the curses, I have to stay away from that. If I want to be with the woman, right on, and give her children, there's a possibility she's going to oppress me, or the children are, and she's going to rule over me. There's a possibility another man could be with her, right on. Like, there's just, you have to really acknowledge that it could happen to you once you put yourself in that scope. That's the truth. We'll see. We'll see what gets to you, what doesn't.